today we're talking about how to monitor cortisol the easy way. The easiest way to monitor cortisol is to take your temperature every morning when you get up before you get out of bed. And I don't take mine before I get out of bed. I take mine, I get up, I walk into the bathroom, and that's where I take my temperature. And I will take it every single morning and write it down. And basically what happened, um, if you ovulation track, you do this, and because what you'll see after ovulation is there's a spike in your it's called when you take your temperature this way first thing in the morning, it's called basal body temperature. There's a spike in your basal body temperature after ovulation because you're making more progesterone. Progesterone is a hotter hormone comparatively speaking to estrogen. This is something I talk about on a different YouTube channel that I can link somewhere. Anyways, what you expect to see, though, is for your temperature to be all in a, a very narrow band for the first part of your cycle. And then after ovulation, you expect that band just to do a step increase and stay there for the rest of the cycle and probably go back down a day, maybe 2 days before you start your period. What I was seeing was temperature that was high one day, low the next, high one day. So it looked like this, like it was all over the place. And I couldn't figure out what was going on because for years my temperature had followed the standard profile. Well, what had happened was I was seeing a naturopath who'd put me on a supplement that was suppressing cortisol, and my cortisol was already low. WTF. Ah. So anyways, needless to say, I stopped taking that supplement. And the other piece to this story is that the adrenals absolutely need thyroid hormone in order to make cortisol. And me with Hashimoto's, this was at a time, not only did that naturopath put me on that supplement, she also was titrating me off my thyroid replacement hormone. Sorry, I'm pulling a Martin Crane where I'm just watching red balloons. It's I'm still upset over that. Still upset over that. In retrospect, it was a huge learning experience because I figured out what the hell, like I figured this piece out from that. But it's irritating. Why do I have to figure this out? Why don't these people already know this? Why don't they already know this? So anyways, if you could take your temperature every morning, this is a huge indication of whether you're struggling with dysregulated cortisol, of whether your cortisol might potentially be high or whether it might potentially be low. Huge indication. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't know, depending on who you follow. There's also this taking your temperature before and after meals, like 30 minutes or an hour before or after meals, and then taking your temperature before and after exercise. I don't do any of that. I just take my temperature in the morning. And that was enough to know. That was enough for me to know that something's really wrong. And I feel like it's enough, I still use that as a gauge because it is such an incredible marker, just since I am taking thyroid replacement hormone because of the Hashimoto's again. It's such an incredible indication of whether the timing for the thyroid hormone replacement hormone dosages is correct or not. And if I happen to be getting too much, like after during the luteal phase of the cycle instead of during the follicular phase of the cycle. All right. That's all for day 12. I'll catch you on day 13.